We'll call this special meeting of the ordinance committee to order. We have a forum because I'm here, Co-Chair Boyd, Committee Member Lyons, Newton, and Dahlia are here. Also, Councilwoman Pereira, Spell, and Councilman Burns are here. And Mark Masazi is here from the City Attorney's Office. Anthony Payla is here from the Mayor's Office. They're not here yet. You need something? Yeah. Just to create an official draft. So essentially, what we're going to do is just dive right into it. Mark, you were with us at the last workshop.
Saturday?
Yes. Where we covered chapters 1, 2, and 3. We tabled a lot of things.
And didn't finish.
Correct. You want to just finish off from there?
It's entirely up to you if I recall. I don't have the agenda in front of me. I know tomorrow night's agenda lists a number of chapters, but it also says a general discussion.
Right.
And I assume that's the same for tonight?
Correct.
So you can go back and stop where you left off.
Only because at some point we have to like
Whatever you want.
tie up loose ends. Otherwise, we're creating more work for ourselves. Hold on 1 second. Does anybody need an agenda?
All I know
It's a
is
very
we should
broad
make some changes that I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
And look at it, just pick it up.
And it's in a different color and.
The red, I think, is the new stuff. Now, workshops have you got for both chapters.
Yep. Ideally, we were supposed to go over 4, 5, 6, 9, 10. And we still can, but again, at some point, we still have to make corrections to the things we tabled.
What is in there?
Well, we do
What's that? He isn't.
You want to start from 4 or 5?
Let's start 4 or 5, and then
Go back?
we can go back.
All right, let's go to chapter 4 then.
Oh, do you wanna?
Mr. Chair, I don't know if you want to work off of what you had previously or the new document that
Let's do the
Taisha.
new- let's do the new one.
Well, let me, I gotta.
Oh, is it, did you pass it out to?
I didn't pass, it's literally the same thing, it just says,
It's
has a
changed.
water mark on it.
I don't know, I got, okay, maybe.
Let's
I just,
exhibit it.
Yeah, what, let's
First.
wait till, you know, let's wait till.
Let's wait till she comes back and then we can exhibit this.
yeah,
And
Taisha
then we
had,
can talk about it.
Yes.
Taisha indicated to me today that this included some additional changes, most of which I think.
From the meeting?
No, well, yes and no. I think it's primarily typos
Right.
and cleaning up syntaxes and gender and that kind of stuff. So you may want to work off this new document.
Right.
Okay, what about the
This
next
is the
day?
one that she cleaned up a
You
little.
guys were looking?
Yeah.
So she cleaned it up a little bit, so at least that's good.
I think, yeah, she does that.
Yeah, so I will wait till we get a quorum and then I'll make a motion to exhibit this. Item. Then we can work off the new one.
There you go. There you go. John.
John.
Another thing I think might distinguish the two is Taisha told me that she was proposing an alternate to the preamble, although I guess that hasn't been incorporated yet. So forget
Oh,
that
to
part.
the,
Yeah, forget that
ethics
part.
motion?
Here they come now.
Yeah.
What's the name of this line?
And now we got no clubs over here. And now we got no clubs over here yet.
No, I'm serious, like,
I'm glad y'all could join us.
Sorry, I'm a diabetical, so I had to go get some sugar.
Ain't no doubt.
Hello.
She said she's diabetic. When she become diabetic?
Diabetical.
Is that in the dictionary? That's not.
That's in my
All
dictionary.
right, now that we got a form,
Y'all make a, as you know, Mark, just got here, he gave us a new version that has been cleaned up a little bit, so I'm gonna make a motion that we enter, it's 07, 23, 2025.
can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you.
Yeah, 23. 07.
I just have a question. The changes on here were changes of things we have already discussed, or?
Yes.
Okay.
And I believe also, since I haven't read it, but I believe it also includes some syntax, gender, typos, that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay.
But I could be wrong. Yeah, I just know it's at least as new as anything else, and it's the one Taisha said to work on, so.
May I ask a question? But how are we supposed to, if we're still using red, how are we supposed to know what's been changed since the Saturday meeting? If it's still all, like, why aren't we using it like a different color? I don't know. How are we supposed to know what changed since Saturday meeting?
That's a good question. Which I don't.
Like, there should be a new color, blue, and then you know it's from what was discussed on Saturday.
Something to consider for the future, absolutely.
And I think it could, they could be marked so that the update could be in the market, so you know the new languages and so.
No, it isn't. Can I give you an example?
No, hold on. So you were gone.
Oh,
So
okay.
we did chapter 1, 2, and 3 Saturday.
I was there Saturday.
Right.
Yeah.
Page six,
Do
page
you
six,
want to
they
move
can.
on to 4, or do you want
Yeah.
to make final changes to?
No, we're doing
We're
four.
doing four?
Yeah, we're moving on.
All right, we'll go to chapter 4.
Chapter 4.
I think it's like, new stuff. This is a
19, right?
What's the new copy?
That's the new copy, yeah.
Oh, so they did that.
No.
I think one of the ways you can distinguish the two is
I see it, yeah, on the side.
on page 6, for
That's what I
instance,
said.
under- there's a new
They can
preamble,
find it.
Yep.
Where is it?
page 6.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Okay, so if you go to page 9, I specifically raised the concern that lay people on the Ethics Commission would be writing advisory opinions. So she inserted new language, which is still the same as like a header, but on the right, there's no indicated that it was added. You see how there's nothing here? You see this bold sentence? That was based on the issue I raised. She added a sentence, but it's in the exact same font and bold as it says a lot of other stuff. And there's nothing to the right of it. So that's what I'm
I'll
saying.
make a note of that.
Well,
Yeah.
for what it's worth, there is a slight, hard to find distinction, and that is, I don't believe anything in the body of any paragraph is bolded other than the new stuff. The other bolding is all section headings. So you will note that the portion you're talking about on page 9 is bolded in the body.
The which shall be reviewed, that's, yeah, you're right.
All right, can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chair, we can go through this, let's do 4, let's do what we're supposed to do now. And then we'll have time to go through the whole thing and address those issues. So can we just stick to what we're supposed to do today?
Mayor.
Things on starts on 19, is it? No, it doesn't.
No, 15.
Yeah.
Chapter 4, Mayor. So let's just see.
So we're in section 4, page 10.
Chapter
Chapter 4?
Section,
Chapter 4.
Because we start with the council, right?
no,
Chapter 4,
no,
right?
we're on section 4. We left off,
What chapter though?
I mean, chapter, yeah, we're on chapter 3, we never finished section 4.
Oh,
So
okay.
we have to
Okay.
finish that.
Chapter 3.
Yeah.
It's on page
Stay with the meeting.
14.
Read it. I think it's two.
Page 10?
Chapter 2, ethics.
Yes, but we covered all the way through section 3. We did not cover section 4, so we are covering section 4 right now. Yeah, I'm with it. I'm not sleep. I'm weak.
I'm sorry, but in chapter 3.
Yes, yes.
Isn't ethics chapter 2?
It's chapter 2.
Chapter 2, we did section 1, 2, 3. We're actually doing section 4. So page 10. Page 10.
All right.
Section 4. All right, let's see what we got here.
Terms.
And this was all added, Mark?
No, I don't believe it is. I have the older one here, hold on. I don't think any of
But
this is
if I may,
new.
through the chair, this is what we presented.
Right. There's nothing new here, nothing in bold in the body of it. Just as was pointed out, that we didn't reach it.
Question to Mark. Mark, on the corner, on the right-hand side where it has format, bold, does that mean anything?
Bold.
Strike through, indent left, I guess margins.
Well, it's curious because it says color black strike through. So I don't see any black on that page, so I'm not sure what they're talking about on that page.
Can you put on that?
Okay, maybe you just put that in there, I don't know, okay.
No, I have a question on D.
All right.
Hold on. Is everyone fine with section 4? Section,
Page 10,
page 10, section 4, the Office of Municipal Ethics.
I have a question on that.
terms of positions and
Okay.
those
Pretty straightforward
training.
stuff.
I have a
Okay.
What were?
Well, I'm concerned about the section in D that says if you've been absent during
What
a.
page are you on?
Same, 10, right? Am I right? On the new one, 10?
Mhm.
D. It says if you're somebody who's involved in a hearing regarding, an ethics complaint, that you would have to certify that you have read or heard the entire transcript of the hearing they did not attend, and only will they be eligible to vote. Okay, but the problem is, we don't provide transcripts. Our minutes are not great, and we don't provide transcripts or word for word. Mark, would you agree with that? So if somebody's offered testimony, a witness or something, and somebody was absent, and this is a hearing about somebody's, whatever, against a complaint that was filed, how would they be able to participate? Because we don't, I wish we do transcripts, but we don't.
Well, I'll have to check. I do know that we do not keep verbatim transcripts of regular meetings. However, we do keep transcripts on disciplinary hearings, and it may very well be that a transcript is kept of the executive session portion of an ethics hearing, because it's done in executive session. All these hearings are done in executive session. So
And there's transcribers in executive sessions?
I said there could be, I don't know. I'll have to check. So I made a note to check on that as to whether that's the right terminology, or if it's not the right terminology, then I would have to say, I'm thinking that the best analogy, and I don't cover zoning meetings, but the best analogy I think is there's a recording I know, so it may not be a transcript, it may be a recording, oral recording like they do of the zoning hearings, I believe, and somebody sometimes listens to the recording tape. So it's either transcript and/or tape, but we'll make a note to clean that up.
All right.
By the way, Mark, it doesn't mention executive session here. Because
Well, it doesn't here, it does in the ordinance. In the ordinance, it says, because ethics complaints are confidential and they're conducted in executive session. In fact, until probable cause, and there's a finding, it's not even publicly
But
disclosed.
the person who the complaint's against can demand that be held in public, right? Yes.
Conceivably, if they want to have their dirty linen laundered. Most people don't, but
But that, you
I know
know,
under FOI,
yeah, they can
under
demand
FOI,
it.
they do have a right to.
They have a
inquire
right
in
to,
public.
yes, they do.
But I have to say, I don't think it's ever been exercised.
It was done with Scott Hughes. He demanded
Did
it.
he?
Yes, he did.
That was not an ethics, was it?
No, but it's
No, but that's a discipline.
Mark,
terminated.
All right. So let's do some housekeeping. We're gonna keep order of the meeting. We're the chairs, we're not gonna have side conversations, you're gonna be called upon by the chair, and that's how we're gonna facilitate. We only have the library to 8 o'clock, so we can't go back and forth. We wanna accomplish something today and not back and forth.
I would just make a recommendation. that,
Through the chair.
I did, he recognized me.
Okay.
I would just make a recommendation that we check with the city attorney's office to see if we could do, have it on tape, okay, or get a stenographer that would record for those kind of meetings when we're dealing with these kind of issues. So it can't be answered, because we can do a tape or we can get a stenographer. So we'll cover that in the rules.
Yes, sir. Again, I wanna say that the language in the charter
Right.
is not policy. You don't wanna put policy that ties the actions of the charter. You want to leave it that transcript may mean either video, may either mean voice recording or written. Because if we write it in here, then it's memorialized. So if we're memorializing the little things, then we should put everything in the city of how we run the whole entire city, how we call for the garbage pickup. Should that be in the charter? I'm just saying, policy is policy and procedure, but the charter should be so that it has some flexibility in its actions to allow either or. Am I correct in saying something?
Through the chair, I just want to say, look,
It
I
could
know
be a
you're
video.
trying to accomplish a couple of things. You could actually do virtually everything here in the ordinance and simply state, create an ethics commission by ordinance. But I heard early on that there were a lot of council members and charter revision commission members who did not necessarily want to leave everything up to ordinance that can be changed. They wanted some distinctions established through the charter that would then require a charter amendment to change them. Talking about quorums and some of that stuff, that's much more appropriate for an ordinance, but it's what the commission submitted, and there's nothing illegal about it. You just want to make sure you're not getting, as the council president pointed out, so pointed in your delegation of authority that you limit the council's ability to have a living ordinance that could be amended as needed without waiting every 10 years or 5 years or whatever you charter.
One other thing, please. It also says here that the Ethics Commission shall find no person in violation unless there's a concurring vote of a majority of those members voting. It doesn't say a majority of the whole. There are only 5 members here. So if there are only 3 members present, are we saying 2 members get to decide?
I'm going to be honest with you.
It should be of the whole.
I actually think, and I'm going to check, and I'll only raise it later in the meeting, I think the current ordinance has a higher threshold, but let me check.
All right. Moving on to,
What's next?
I'm sorry, Scott Roach.
Thank you, Chair. Two points on section 4, is that okay?
Yeah.
Section 4 under the same chapter 2. It's page 10. I'm looking at the most recent version besides tonight's. Second paragraph, the Ethics Commission shall ensure compliance with all financial disclosure and reporting requirements, etc. Again, I don't want to bog it down with specific language, but is there a sense, and maybe through you, Chair, from the commission members, what's the idea of ensuring compliance? Is there penalty, public reprimand? I don't know.
Let's see.
I have some, to share.
Okay. That's something.
Do you want to speak to it?
Can we exhibit that if you're gonna make that part of the meeting through you, Mr. Chair?
Yes,
Can
correct.
we have to exhibit that before we
Exhibit.
can pass it out, okay?
So, this is all one? Or
Yes.
is this copy?
It's copy.
So through you, Chair,
One second. Let's just examine it first. Examine it
Can we just?
President, do you have that?
No.
I'd like to exhibit, chapter 2, Office of Municipal Ethics Commission, 0723-2025 A.
Need a second?
I'm sorry, is this B?
That's B.
This is B,
The first
I'm
one was
sorry,
A.
B.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, let's look over this. Got my elbow.
Here.
Couldn't take this long.
Well, I got a problem in the first sentence because I don't think it's appropriate to ask people to file a disclosure by May 1st if they're potentially seeking business with the city.
Mhm.
People aren't going to know they're seeking business until it's time to seek business.
Correct.
If they're doing business, that's one thing. But seeking business, I think, is way too broad, and it's going to have a chilling effect on people seeking to do business. And if they don't file it, now they're barred from doing business. Conceivably. And to be further honest with you, I don't think it's the business. I don't think it's the business of the Ethics Commission to be supervising people who are looking to do business with the city. That's the purchasing department, the city attorney's office, the finance department, the mayor's office. The Ethics Commission is to deal with employees and officials of the city. That's it, not with outside potential vendors. There's a disqualification process for vendors, et cetera.
What's your question?
Would it be a problem, well, I'll let you finish this topic first, and then, because I want to get the topic fast.
So through you, Chair. Commissioner Sweeney, you have 4 bullets as enforcement, dealing with that compliance matter. Again, maybe this is where the ordinance comes in to be the final result, consequence of not complying with the statute. And I think maybe even this document could speak to, the underlying law down the road. So I'm actually okay with the language there, as long as, there is a further,
You're talking about the second paragraph, Scott?
yeah, that ensured compliance line.
And you're saying maybe this can go into an ordinance?
Yeah. Can I ask one other question? Okay, well, I won't be out of turn, but, the other point I would like to make, on the, last paragraph, staffing.
Yeah.
clause, pursuant to available funding, the Ethics Commission shall appoint a director of the Office of Municipal Ethics, blah, blah, blah. I would suggest striking pursuant to available funding, because it makes it sound conditional that the Ethics Commission may or may not be funded.
Funded fully, yeah.
Where is that?
Yeah, the first clause after staffing. I think that would make more sense to make sure it is funded and that, you know,
So what's the wording you're replacing it with?
nothing. I would just take out pursuant to available funding, just take that out.
If I might, through the chair, if you're talking about the audit, I don't think that there's any basis for the Ethics Commission to be involved in audits. The audits are dictated, as noted by Connecticut General Statute. Oh, I'm sorry, but I'm talking about what was passed up.
Oh, we've
Maybe
moved on from that.
all right, that's not gonna be appropriate,
What he's
obviously.
saying right here, remove pursuant to available funding.
The Ethics Commission will appoint. Everything the city does is pursuant to available funding.
That
Yeah.
doesn't say that, to the chair, it doesn't say that involved in any other position that's,
Oh, I hear what you're saying.
This,
I get what you're saying. So,
through the chair, what we were trying to do is, for that exact part, is basically on the legislative office that you kind of created, and it says that there shall be funding, so that for some reason, we put it on one commissioner to put that language together for us, and it was supposed to be adopted the same as the legislative office, and for some reason they put in pursuant to, and that wasn't the commission's desire. We want the office funded.
All right, so we can strike.
well, just hold that thought for 1 second. I think, I could be wrong, but I think the section on the legislative office says the council may. I don't think it says shall.
It says shall.
Does it say shall? You may be right. That's why I said I think. What section are we talking about in the charter, if you know off the top? For the legislative.
It's in the book, the original charter?
Yeah. It's in the council section, I
So,
think.
chapter 5, section 5. I'm sorry, 6, chapter 6.
Let's see what that's in this.
What page is that on? Sorry.
Page
The city, section 6, the city council may by ordinance provide for the establishment of a nonpartisan office of legislative services. I don't know if that was changed by the charter revision
that was
commission
changed.
to shall, but the current ordinance, the current charter gives discretion to the council. So the council may want to decide on both of those, whether they want may or shall, but that's up to the council. And we're both correct. I'm correct, the current, you're correct, what you submitted in your report.
Committee members, how do you feel, may or shall?
Through the chair, that office is exactly the teeth, that's what's gonna give this ethics commission and the daily operation.
Understand?
So, to us, it's imperative that office be funded.
I just want to say, in this potential handout, it talks about May 1st or whatever, but this is saying when we have to do our residency form by January 30th every year. The problem is, anybody who gets hired February 1st or after, and I tried to fix it when I first started, would not have to file anything until the following year, right? If you get hired as a new employee or you're a new commissioner. So there has to be something in there for people, whatever the deadline is, like we have January 30th, we'll have to do our residency form. That's bad, because every other person that we appoint after January 30th, they do not have to submit a residency form. Number 2 is, it says here that the disclosure statements only have to be maintained for 5 years. Is that in conformity with the Freedom of Information Act part?
But we moved on from this.
Well, but I didn't ask any questions on it, I
But
didn't get,
we moved on to this.
I didn't get a chance to ask questions.
We're deciding to be an ordinance now,
no,
right?
I didn't ask any.
Right.
Right, I didn't get a chance, I was waiting my turn. So I'm
I can
questioning
answer
that.
that quickly, through the chair. In terms of length of requirement for retention of documents, anything the charter says is subject not to the FOI, but to the State Records Retention Act. So it's whatever the state act says. So if we say 5 years, and the state act says you gotta, certain records are 10 years, some are 20, some are 5, whatever it is gonna govern, regardless of the state.
And that,
Through the chair, I believe that people are signing in within 30 days of their appointment with the town clerk's office. What Congress, what Chair
Get together.
Maria said about having maybe as much as 11 months to go without recognizing correct address and whatever. I believe that's dealt with already. But if it's not, it can get strengthened by ordinance, obviously.
I'd like just to say this was a quick draft and it's by welcome revisions. So whatever you guys
can I ask about the staffing, the last bullet on the page? It says the Director of Legislative Services shall be responsible for the day-to-day management and functions of the Office of Municipal Ethics.
Again, through the
But
chair.
if I-
Hold on, 1 second, One second, you guys have had your
Okay,
chance.
my concern is, it's a separate entity, it's a separate public agency, and this doesn't just cover, city council people, it covers employees.
Cities.
Yeah, so why is the Office of Legislative Affairs supervising, Office of Legislative is strictly for the council.
Right.
Why are they off supervising a totally separate agency that's supervising employees? I don't understand. What's the premise for that?
What was your thought?
That was a typo, first of all. What happened was we worked on this last section that the night we were gonna give it to you guys, and we were under time constraints, so we missed. We asked the commission member to put this part of it together. They did a typo, we didn't catch it. So the legislative affairs is not any part of it.
It shouldn't be.
It's
So I can strike that out?
Yes.
Yeah, strike that. We
I
just,
found
The
that out,
appropriate
too.
authority,
Yeah.
yeah.
the ethics director.
Well,
Right.
I'm not sure you want
Yeah,
to
that's-
strike it out.
that's-
I think you want to, with all due respect on the staffing, in the first line, it talks about the appointment of Director of Office of Municipal Ethics. That's, it should be the Director of Office of Municipal Ethics.
Yes.
It is.
Will be responsible.
That's-
So you're not striking it out, you're substituting the proper director.
Yeah.
No, well, the
Yeah,
next
it's a
sentence,
typo.
the director of legislative services shall be responsible for the day-to-day management of
Right,
functions.
you want to put the other name in.
Yeah, just municipal director.
So we're putting ethics.
Right, the Director of the Office of Municipal Ethics.
Yeah.
That was just a typo. That we missed. And to make, and through the chair again, just to get this started, we're just looking to find one position at this time.
Right. Eugene?
Yeah, on this filing piece, right now,
Where are you?
the filing piece,
I'm sorry, the what page?
on filing with the Ethics Commission, filing, you
Oh,
have to
yeah.
file with them so much or whatever. Question. Because the town clerk, I fill out a residence form with them every year like I'm supposed to. But that duty go over to the Ethics Commission to make sure boards and commissions, that people are doing what they're supposed to. Because from what I understand, we got a whole bunch of people sitting on boards and commissions, they never filled out a form of residency for years. Is that going to be moved over to them, or do we going from the town clerk
To this ethics integration.
Well, the ordinance has to be changed then.
I'm just trying to figure it out, since they're gonna be the watchdogs over, what goes on in the municipality. Because the town clerk definitely doesn't have the ability to do it So, Mark, could you, let's make a little note, that could probably be moved by ordinance, I guess, instead of putting it in here, it could be moved to the ordinance.
Well, through the chair, a lot of stuff could be done by ordinance. And I'm sorry Maria left the room because she raised an issue that pointed out that we have a very low threshold under the charter provision as submitted of requiring a majority vote of those present and voting to find somebody guilty of an ethics violation. Recognizing that being found guilty of an ethics violation is a very serious offense. In your current ordinance, you would require a supermajority. You require 4 affirmative votes. You're now changing it from 4 to 2. You could arguably have a meeting of only 3 members, which constitutes quorum, and somebody can be found guilty of violating the ethics ordinance on a vote of 2. The ordinance right now says you need 4. I'm not saying you have to keep that. Maybe you want to make it 3, a majority of the whole. I don't know. But when you're finding somebody and stigmatizing them for violating the ethics ordinance, you don't want anything that is ambiguous. You want something that's definitive and clear. So I like to, I'm not here to debate people, but I think you have to balance the need to supervise, oversee, and hold people accountable with the fact that you also want to make sure that, in a criminal trial, you need a unanimous finding. I'm not saying we need to make it unanimous, but right now it's 4 out of 5, and somebody's proposing it to go to 2 out of 5. That's all I'm telling
You're referring to D under form?
you. Maria raised it.
Yeah.
She's not here to hear it, but I said when she raised it that I thought the ordinance had a higher.
Again, we don't have to, we could not, we could just take it out. Keep it the way it is.
Right, I don't know.
That's why we're here. We don't have to.
And-
These are their recommendations, not ours.
I'm not here to fight with them either. I
Correct.
am here to say that the more you put in the charter, the more you're restricting your ability and the council's ability to have a living, breathing ordinance. Now, sometimes that frightens people on the outside because they want things to be mandated, just like they want mandated staffing and stuff. I understand that, but you got to balance.
Mr. Chair.
Could you not cut it out? Could you put what you want in there instead?
4 and 5 makes sense.
Fine.
4 and 5 makes sense.
We'll live with the supervisor.
You
Well,
know,
that's what the ordinance says now, so.
I mean, I
Yes.
know
Go
it's
with
right.
that.
Through the chair and no side talking,
Yes, sir.
please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I know we're trying to build some good government where people believe that we're the watchdogs over the world. But I don't want to happen that you make it so low that we just start going after folk. So I think if somebody made a mistake or they broke a rule, you shouldn't make it so 2 people can be the judge. You should put it at a level, a majority, to make sure it's fair and it's equitable. Because I think that we'll be doing a good service, because if I don't like you, and we know how petty politics is in this city, I'm on the commission, if we only need 2 votes, we're gonna be in trouble.
So for D, we could just put, keep it at 4.
I think that's what the charter says, yeah. I think that's what the ordinance says.
Well, in red it says,
A majority.
right.
Keep it a majority.
So do you want to keep it a majority?
Yep, keep it a majority.
Well, it's not a majority through the chair, it's not a majority now.
Right.
The ordinance is, you have a quorum of the meeting is 3, but you cannot convict somebody without 4 affirmative votes
That's fine.
by the ordinance. And I think I'm hearing the commission say they're okay with that.
That's fine. Let's keep it like that. That's fine.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's fine.
That makes a lot more sense.
It should be through the chair for clarity. Through the chair for clarity, it should be said by the majority
Hold on a second.
of the body,
What you've done here is,
the whole. That's what I mean. Can you just
Mark, and
Just
actually,
one second. No person in violation of the except upon the concurrent vote of, which should, instead of majority of those present, it's going to say, on the four affirmative votes, put in four
The whole body, right?
affirmative votes. Well, that's a super majority, four is more than three, but that's what it currently requires.
okay,
Okay.
is that like?
Is this going in D?
Yeah.
So we need to read it out loud so everybody knows what we're doing.
So, at section D, at the end of it,
All right, section D,
at the end of it,
we're still on page 10,
the
right?
last sentence, where it says, vote a majority of those members voting, after vote upon 4 affirmative votes, correct, Mark?
Yes.
Upon what?
Upon 4 affirmative votes.
So, accepted upon the concurrent.
Okay, you read it. Strike that, or accept upon 4 affirmative votes. You guys can see everything.
You're smart.
Have to be.
Is it the letter 4 or the number 4?
All right, if you want
It's
to,
new number 4.
Mr. Chairman, I don't care if you want to do it, but if you want to mirror the language of the ordinance, it says, except upon concurring votes of 4 of its members. So if you want us to plug that in, that's what we'll plug in.
What's the difference between that and this?
Well, now you got to amend the ordinance to say the same thing, so why not just take the ordinance language? It says, except upon the concurring vote of 4 of its members. Just take it right out of the ordinance. And if we don't remove it, you never get out of this section, let alone to chapter.
That's fine.
Exactly.
That's
I'm with
fine.
you, Mark.
Anyway, you were right to change it.
So can
Which is a majority of the whole.
You need 4.
Clarify for Michelle, please.
What's our
It should be, that's four.
We just changed it, we're changing that again, upon 4 affirmative votes.
I know about that.
Hold on.
Except upon concurring vote of 4 of its members.
Concurring means the same?
Yes.
Okay.
Of 4 of its members.
So it's kind of like zoning. There's only 4 members, you gotta get all 4 votes.
That's right. For the reasons we pointed out.
So that was changed.
Just stigmatizing.
That was changed twice, all right? You guys got
Go to
it?
criminal law.
Let's move on. CP, you have something to say?
Yeah, I wanna go back to the,
Back. Should be going forward.
I know, but I just need it for clarity, because if we're gonna use some of this language, or some of this for the ordinance, I just need to be clear on the 2 things. On the first, on the annual disclosure requirement, designated city employees, who will be determining the designated city employees that will have to, outside of the department head? So what other city employees would have to, what designated city employees would have to file a financial disclosure? Are you saying every single employee? Are we talking about the tax assessor's office, seasonals? We have all kinds of
You can,
employees.
through the chair, you can do it a variety of ways. You could try to list them, which is hopeless. You could say, if you want to keep the control designated by ordinance, or you can say determined by the CAO's office, whatever you prefer.
How do you, but my thing is, how do you determine which ones? Because let's say, for instance, we have an employee who decides they're going to open a cleaning business, a city cleaning business. And we do, there's bids and they want to bid for this, and they're actually a public facilities maintainer. Do all maintainers have to do it now because this one maintainer is now bidding for the city? Did that put them on the list of designated then?
Well,
That's my
I think
question.
we talked earlier about
Do we
the fact.
determine, hold on,
Sure,
the
sorry.
question is, how do we determine which designated employee? I think that I can understand department heads. Are we talking about supervisors? Are we talking about the police department? Who can open security guard companies or run security guard companies? So what would that, how would we determine? And I only say that because are we going to start asking our city employees to do financial statements?
Through the chair, you're heading down a very, and I had this conversation, I believe, with the Charter Revision Commission. You're heading down a very slippery slope when you start requiring employees to file financial disclosure statements. I had to file the state financial disclosure statement for a number of years when I was a member of the Connecticut Resource Recovery Authority, because I was president of the World Trash Committee for a decade. And let me tell you, that is a tremendously onerous form where you have to disclose every stock you own, every business interest or partnership property you own. I don't, the disclosure now, as I understand it, subject to correction by anybody in the room, is that it's elected and appointed officials. It's not employees who file disclosure statements. You know, people are, when they apply for a job with the city, they're interviewed, they submit a resume or an application, and they go through a process. I think you would be very cautious about requiring, we have enough trouble attracting qualified employees to the city of Bridgeport as is, because obviously, as a financially challenged city, we can't necessarily pay as much as other communities.
I think, this is my point. When I'm going to say this, when I applied to work for Bridgeport Armored Car Service 15 years ago, when I was in my final interview process, they required I get a copy of my credit record and everything, because I was going to be dealing with financials. And I asked that, and I only say that because in my mind, the designated employees would be those that work in any part of our financial component within our department, meaning the tax assessor's office, the comptroller's office, anybody, anybody that works in finance, OPM, or anything that has to do with the city finances. Those, in my mind, are those designated employees. So that's the only thing I just want to, I'm seeking clarity. And the other thing is income sources. Right now, I could be working as a contractor, but in 6 months I'm unemployed and I'm collecting bottles, and that's my income source. Am I supposed to say in 30 days I'm unemployed, but I right now the only income I have coming in is collecting bottles, returning bottles? I'm being sarcastic.
No, but you raised an important point.
But
and that is, you tried to list who's financially involved. You left out purchasing, you probably left out CAO, maybe city attorney's office. Therefore, my suggestion would be, you don't try to do it now, and you say it will be determined by ordinance. And then you can change it if it's not working, you can expand it or contract it, and you're not locked in.
Yeah, let me say, and everybody believes in good government, but we don't want to overreach. And I do not believe now the mayor appointees, city attorney, economic development, all those appointments should go through some kind of check. Okay? Public facility, his directors ought to do that. To have every employee, and I don't know how many employees we got in the city of Bridgeport, that works for the city of Bridgeport. We're overreaching. And I don't think that's why we're setting up, if we're setting up the Ethics Commission to be on witch hunts, then I'm not in favor of it. And I think that to make everybody that works for the city of Bridgeport have to go through this here, I think that's overreaching.
Through the chair, that wasn't the intent.
Well, I'm just saying, if that's our intent, I think we're overreaching. I can understand boards and commissions, you want to look out to make sure they don't have no conflict of interest. Maybe the mayor's top echelon. You might want to look at little people who are janitors and I'm not going to vote for nothing like that. So I do believe in checks and balances, but I think we'll overreach if that's what you're looking to do.
Through the chairs, can you explain to us the reason for this particular section?
This actually came out of the discussion in section, if you go back to, it says it at the top, filing of public disclosures, there wasn't any clarity, there was one short line that talked about it. So this was for section 2 in the general provisions, but since Councilman Burns had brought up something in another section, I thought to hand this out. It's a real rough draft, and there's plenty of room for you to make changes. That's a good point that you brought up about the employees, that can come out. So it's you're having a good discussion, and that definitely can be something to take.
First of all, this would include the Board of Ed, because it keeps saying city employees, the Board of Ed has like
We
25.
would take out the city employees.
Okay, but let me just say, I do think anybody who's awarding or expending funds, who has the authority to hire somebody, give out a contract, sometimes under 25,000, right, there's no bid requirements. Anybody who has that type of authority to hire people, to expend taxpayer fund, award non-bid or bidded contracts, I think that's where we should focus. Obviously, everybody who's voting on a board or commission on anything, right? I don't think the school teachers, right? I mean, they're not making those kind of decisions. The principal is, you know, maybe it is. I think like it's the highest levels of people who have the authority to expend money, to award contracts, those are the people, and it serves every board and commissioner should be doing that. I always get concerned, as you guys know, about planning and zoning. I'm always worried about putting people on there with a potential conflict. And maybe the thing for those people is when they're voting on approving something or awarding, whoever's doing that, who's author, has to sign of just saying that in awarding this, or I have no conflicts, and I think we do need to define that includes your immediate family members. You know, so that, I think if we focus on those people who can spend money, award contracts, vote on issues, I think that would narrow it significantly and get to where I think we're trying to get. Not 2,500 Board of Ed employees, or, there's one person in staff already so far, I think, right?
Let's say, yeah, let's say the city council may, by ordinance.
Or shall.
No, to say shall, I mean, we all know, through the chair, I don't have a side conversation, but we all know that everybody is of the opinion that every board and commission member, every elected official should. The issue is, should we dip our toe into the employees, and if so, how deep? And so that's why, you know, I think you could just do it all by ordinance. It's done by ordinance now. You can amend the ordinance to add certain key employees, should that be the will of the council. So it's already done by ordinance. There's really no reason to put any of it in the charter, but it's up to you. You're going to put it in the charter, say the city council may by ordinance require annual disclosure, period.
I'm going to say the ordinance already has all this lobbyist stuff in it. Adam Wood has called me repeatedly to meet with him. I said, are you registered with the lobbyist in the town clerk as required by ordinance? He said, I didn't know about it. I said, well, that's interesting. You were chief of staff when the ordinance was passed. If you're not registering as a lobbyist and you want a meeting with me, and it's about something coming before the council, I'm not meeting with you. It's already there. That language is already there.
Right.
Elected officials, board and commission members, and such other, and such employees as they deem appropriate.
And through the chair, it should be those doing business, not those seeking business. Sorry about that.
Where was that?
First sentence
So,
on this.
under section 2, they gave us this, right? Section 2 for B, instead of filing a public disclosure, the city may, by ordinance, require the filing of annual disclosure forms by elected officials, boards of commission members, and such employees that may be deemed appropriate.
Can you have that a little louder, just slower?
But why is it made right there in the shop?
Just to be this enunciate.
So, right here.
Well, because they did it already without any
The
requirement.
city council may by ordinance. May by ordinance.
I just don't want, you could say shall, but my attitude is why tie the council's hands? The council established
May
the
is
ordinance
fine.
without any.
May is fine, Mark. May is fine, Mark.
Attorney Moran.
Stop being an attorney every single night. The city attorney, the city council may by ordinance
Require the filing of annual disclosure forms. Require the filing of annual disclosure forms. Require the filing of annual disclosure forms by elected officials, boards and commission members,
By elected and appointed, or just elected?
by elected officials, boards and commission members, and such employees that are deemed appropriate.
Or codified in the ordinance?
Or you could say, for the last one, you could say as established therein.
Killing me, Mark.
As established,
Mark, you killed me.
As established?
After that,
such employees that they, as they determine, put as they determine. Employees, such employees as they, or as the council determines, as the council determines. And you can change it if it's not working, if it's too broad or too narrow, as the council determines.
Thank you, Mark.
And
You
the
want to
ordinance.
keep the language through the chair simple, because when you get too wordy, it just confuses
all right, let's move on.
language.
That was some good work right there. I like
That was
that.
good.
That was good.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you,
What's the
Mark.
next piece?
All right. We covered the staffing, we made an edit there. What?
Chair, you did eliminate that first sentence?
Yes. Wait, the first one is
The
where?
first sentence, which is pursuant to a available funding,
Yes,
We're not-
you know,
that's being eliminated.
yes, it's crossed
Mark,
out.
what did you say about that? We cross that out, or you said keep it?
You say cross it out?
No.
Hold on, tap Mark, let's ask Mark, Mark is here.
Stop right here, right here.
You said you
That's the only
crossed.
change I have.
Yeah, I did not say to take it out.
You did?
Well, I think the commission said it doesn't say that for the legislative office. I haven't had a chance to check that.
They said it was an error.
But what it does
They
say,
said it was an error.
okay, what it does say for the legislative office currently, it says, this is section 6 of chapter 5 in the current charter. The city council may, by ordinance, provide for the establishment of a nonpartisan office of legislative services. It's not mandated, yet the council did it. In my humble opinion, I don't know why that would be any different than this.
Correct.
In my opinion, it should say the council may, by ordinance, provide it doesn't have to say as subject to funding, because you're giving yourself discretion.
Correct.
Where it says may.
So for staffing, can we just put,
You could say, see, here it's talking about the ethics commission.
right,
Shall appoint a, okay,
so the director?
The council may by,
look, it's entirely up to you. If it was me, again, I know they feel very strongly about the need to have a staff.
Yes.
On the other hand, so did you. You felt very strongly about the need to have a legislative director and department. Yet the charter did not mandate that you do that. It permitted you to do it.
One second.
It permitted you to do it. This is different. This is mandating that there's going to be an ethics department. You know, if I was doing it, which I'm not, I would make it mirror the other one. let's say the city council, may by ordinance, we're doing an ethics ordinance, may by ordinance provide for a director of municipal ethics and then pick it up from there. But it's up to you what you want to do. The Charter Revision Commission is heavily invested, we all know it, in strengthening the ethics department. The Board of Ed is heavily invested in getting more Board of Ed money. I'm sure the city attorney's office is very heavily invested in hiring more lawyers. You have competing interests for limited funds. You're gonna have to decide how big a department, how broad a department, and whether you want to staff a department. It's entirely up to you. I'm saying when you do it by ordinance, you have greater flexibility. When you mandate that something happen in the charter, you're obligated to do it. You were not mandated and waited many years, if you remember, before you established the Department of Legislative Services. If you're inclined to commit yourself to establishing a freestanding Department for Ethics, that's entirely up to you. But you can do that by ordinance, not necessarily by charter, where you have the ability to have more flexibility.
On page 20 of our recommendations, it says Office of Legislative Services. That's where we're asking, it says that it shall be funded. It's not a question of discretionary or not. That's what we recommended for the legislative office. That is what we are also recommending for the ethics.
And it's shall throughout.
It's all shall.
Okay, so to the chair again, what you're recommending is, obviously you're looking at this from a good government, honest government, effective operating government perspective. The council has to look at it from that perspective and also from a budgetary competition perspective, which they wrestle with every year for several months in determining how to expend their money. And they get yelled at and screamed at by any number of constituencies, not the least of which is the Board of Education. So,
When you say staff, we're looking at one person.
Wait, but it doesn't say that.
no, it
It
doesn't.
says there shall be amount of, with full-time professional and clerical staff.
Yeah. it's not
So
one of those.
it's not saying one person. In addition, it says to be paid from the general fund as appropriated. Well, of course it's gonna come from the general fund. Where else would it come from? So that, it's 20, where you flip to page 20. It's saying we have to have full-time professional staff and a clerical, okay? And then it goes on to talk about equipment, and where do we have in the charter, what equipment, are we gonna start saying we have to have bulldozers for public? Same thing, 20.
Legislative office.
Yeah, but what
Where I
belongs to
directed
us?
you to legislative office that we're willing to fund that in our recommendation. And what we're asking in return
Who are we talking about?
is a funding of one position at this time.
The legislative office is a recommendation from you.
Through the chair, with all due respect, just because they're recommending that the Legislative Services Department get equal billing, doesn't mean that the council's interested.
Where, can I
But
just
either-
do a point here? It's actually, what time is it?
7:10.
7:10. The library closes at 8 o'clock. We have not moved forward on anything else. We're stuck on one point here. We're going back and forth on one point. It's important. This is our meeting. We need to stick to what we need to stick to. Dasha has patiently been waiting to address her point. If we can acknowledge Dasha and move on to our council president. And we need to move on because we have a deadline for this. And if we keep going back and forth on one item, we will not have this ready to vote on it August 4th.
August 4th?
Thank you, through the chairs. All I was gonna say is that in regards to, just like we started off with the legislative office and our director of legislative, let's change the wording to manager over, ethics commission, and from there, start with that particular position. Because also, I'm hearing the finances and the money, and managers get a little bit less than directors. And we can always bump it as we start improving on our revenue side of it. Because right now, all I'm hearing is back and forth, the language, and if it's either we are gonna do the ethics commission and make sure that it's a strong body, or we're not. If we're gonna do it, let's give them a manager to work it and move forward. Because I agree, because we've been sitting here on 2 or 3 words.
Through the chair, that's why it's best to do all of this by ordinance, because you can change it when there's more staff, if there's more staff. Because you raise a great point. Directors generally direct subordinate employees. You can have project managers who manage projects without necessarily supervising people, because they're managing a variety of functions and projects. So, again,
If I can, through the chair, so right now, we have high-level department heads and we have mid-level department heads, meaning that they are just in the CAO's office, in the health department. We have the director of social services, but the director of health is the supervisor of the director of social services. So it's just a play on words. Most of the time, those are like either appointees or project managers in the hiring scale. So, in the wording that was put through, and this is where I agree with the Charter Commission, that it needs to say shall, because it has taken us, let me see, I've been on council 10 years, plus McCarthy's what, 16 years McCarthy was on? 26 years to reestablish an Office of Legislative Services that was dismantled. 26 years. So I only say, for the sake of ensuring that that department continues to live and breathe on its own, I think shall is the correct word for that, and then we should move on. And the reason why those other sentences were put into there and for the legislative services is because when we initially had talked about this, maybe 3.5 years ago, the creation, the question kept coming up from our OPM director was, where's it gonna be funded from and where's the money gonna come from? So that's why that language of the general fund was inserted in there as part of the legislative services language. So I just want that for clarity, so everybody remembers that 3.5 years ago, when we tried to start this department, that's why this language exists. And I think, I say this, Mark, with all endearing, but some of this stuff has to live there because we don't know who the next leader of the city is going to be in 10 to 15 years. So some of this stuff, the shall has to stay in both sections. So so for the course of moving on, I think that's pretty much it.
All right.
I agree.
So the shall, where are you talking about?
Section 4?
For what he was just talking, section 4.
The first line?
The shall.
The first paragraph.
What, are you
Section
talking about
4.
under staffing or?
Under.
Staffing?
Under, where we struck out pursuant, the ethics committee shall appoint, and this just states shall,
Yeah.
and then it said who shall be an unclassified civil service, the director of, this should state shall, because that's what they were talking about,
Right.
shall remain.
Can I just say one more thing before you move on?
And then, go ahead, Mary.
When you go to the top, when you go from staffing at the bottom of page 10 and segues up to page 11, why do we have to put may subject to available funding appoint subordinate staff? We can always do that. We can always add staff to a department or take it out. Why are we putting in stuff here in the charter that's not necessary?
Again, we can take it out.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, we're getting too.
Yeah, to follow.
And you always can add staff to any department or take it away. But also, the section about non-competitive classified division, that should lay in civil service. Why is that here? That's unusual. Why is it talking about classified? That should be in the civil service position, not here. You don't see that for anybody else.
Chapter 17 of the charter.
So that whole thing, to me, is not necessary. Because
What's behind that is that this position is appointed by the Ethics Commission, right? And it's outside the mayor's purview, and it's outside the council's purview. You appoint the commissioners, or the Ethics Commission, okay? My suggestion would be to add that position, the ethics director, into the unclassified that you'll see under the concept of.
Are we changing it, hold on a second, are we changing it from ethics director to ethics manager?
I don't care if it's a director.
It doesn't matter because it's not a high, it's not a a 6-digit salary usually.
Well, with all due respect, Madam President, it was
Yeah.
pointed out that a director is in the unaffiliated ordinance, and a director is paid a very substantial salary. And I don't know if there's anything.
Not all directors are
No,
paid.
that's not true.
Not all
There's
directors.
a range.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
There's a
are.
range, yes.
There's a range, but it's a very high range. Take a look at your ordinance.
There is a high, we
It's
just,
above,
there is a high
it's
range.
above project managers, it's very high range. And it's very rare, if ever, that you have a director that's not directing people as a director. Now, I don't care what you do, you're the budget people, it's not my business. But the point was made, and the reason why the suggestion was to put in the unclassified is because otherwise you have language in the current charter that's being amended in the new proposed charter that talks about all hereinafter created positions being in the competitive division of the classified service. And
I think, just not to direct, I think they used some of the language that was part of the Director of Legislative Services. Now, this language from the Director of Legislative Services is what's been memorialized through the New Haven Act, through the New Haven's director, right? We use a lot of their language. And I'm gonna argue, Mark, that right now, our director is not a high-range salary person.
That's right.
She's not. I don't want to talk about people's salaries, but it's not. And it's determined upon the level of the work that you're gonna do and the level of expertise. Now, we have salary ranges for our project managers as well. And some project managers are directors. And their position is under a project manager.
some people,
It depends on the job code, but I don't wanna get into that in the charter. I just wanna say that I understand the point. We wanna make sure that the person in this position or the employees in this position have some form of political protections, because this is supposed to be a non-political position. And we wanna ensure, just like the legislative director, that they can't be dismantled as they previously were dismantled, the whole department, because
Retribution.
not retribution, because the mayor took all of the staff with him. No, he didn't, and it really took everybody, and became his mayoral staff, and he became the mayor at the time.
You take your guy?
So he took my guy, so he took Chris Rodari, he took other people out of the legislative services, and then it was all
Took your guy?
gone. But that's the point here. We wanna make sure that there is some autonomy for the work to be done in its fruition. But it's not, it's to Ernie's point, this is very new, but also I don't want it to be that the Office of Municipal Ethics becomes like the watchdog and a place where people go to politically assassinate people or individuals.
That's right.
That's true, yeah, we wanna avoid that.
We wanna avoid that. And we also don't wanna give the guys to the community or to the future residents of the city of Bridgeport that we don't trust ourselves and we don't trust anybody, that's what we have to
through the chair, to the extent the position does not currently exist, and will need to be created through civil service one way or the other.
Yep.
Nobody's even talked about what the duties and functions of that position are gonna be,
It will be created by us.
which the whole thing should be, none of this should be.
I think the office establishment itself shall live in there. Maybe
And the
we can-
staffing should be deferred to the ordinance. But we may have addressed it in the civil service piece where it talks about identifying certain positions to go in the unclassified, because they were trying to expand that. I'll have to take a look at that. Right now, it's very restricted.
All right,
You
let's go
can't
back
have
and
anything.
let's go
Can I
back
just say
for
something?
the sake of time.
I want to say the Ethics Commission now is under the city attorney.
No.
I was told by Taisha that Ethics Commission
He
is under.
provides some staff.
clerk,
The
the clerk.
clerk and legal advice.
Okay, right.
But that's by default, it's the city clerk.
Well, you
doesn't
know,
wanna
they
do
put
it.
out all their
Years
agendas
ago,
on the city attorney's letterhead.
Because years ago, the city clerk did it, and they don't want to do it.
Well, I'm just telling you,
So we took
Taisha,
it by default. So they can create monthly agendas, there's one function.
Okay, can I just say, the current city attorney told me that they are the supervisory for the Ethics Commission. Their agendas go on the city attorney's letterhead. And I want to say you would have staff here, because I don't know his position, but his title, who does all the board and commission applications, that person should move under this office.
Just for clarification, the current ordinance requires the city attorney office and the city clerk to provide support to the ethics committee.
But that person who's been doing all the applications for zoning commissioners, perfect person.
Well, they can,
Well, that's down the road.
Because you're talking about they're not gonna supervise
That's
anybody.
down the road.
But that's a person they can
We can
supervise.
beat this
To
drum.
be honest with you, I would think the director could do that themselves, but I don't know what else they're gonna do.
Let's move on
let's move on
to
to,
chapter 3.
That's the director.
what's in chapter 3?
It says, well, it said officers of elections and appointments, now they just put election and appointments.
What page is it?
11.
Page 11.
Everything in red is what they put in.
Okay.
So basically, city clerk and town clerk are no longer elected.
Yes, that's
They're
correct.
appointed.
Chapter 5, powers.
Okay, D is the town, it's the same language for the town clerk. E is the sheriffs
Yeah,
shall, ending in 2031,
Mhm.
and then at the municipal election 2026, hereafter, 2 registrar voters shall be elected.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you saying,
The city shares in the same day with the town clerk and whatever, so I'm on the right page here.
They're not gonna be elected anymore.
They're going away though.
They're going away, yes.
yeah. Later on down the
I
road,
mean,
I
most,
think 4 years.
most municipalities don't use sheriffs anymore.
Are we looking at all 3 right now?
We're on section 1 of municipal elections.
Oh, I just want to say one thing and that's it.
What's up?
I'm opposed to this. We are gonna only have 31 elected positions in this whole city. 9 school board members, 20 councilmen, 2 registrars, and that, am I right? So 31 elected positions. If you go to other towns, we need more democracy in Bridgeport, not less. And I'm totally opposed, not elimination of sheriffs. I believe that they are a risk to us for liability. And some of the things I've heard that they've done, they're not trained. I agree with the sheriffs. Do I agree that now registrars get elected once every 4 years, town clerk? You know, most towns have every planning and zoning and ZBA commissioner elected. They have a board of finance. I just disagree with this wholeheartedly, and there's nothing else I have to say. Thank you.
That's all.
All right, what's next, please?
Are we all on the same page for what we see in red on page 11?
Yeah.
Until anybody else comes and says so.
All right, let's see, move on to page 12.
Oh,
I just, what?
no, go ahead. Okay.
Section 4 and 5, they've eliminated. And then, notice of appointments, elections, certain officers be sworn, give bonds, with a,
Mass cut and drive stuff.
yeah. The city council shall by ordinance establish requirements.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's enough. Page 13.
I have a question on page 12.
What?
Are we really gonna tell people who are gonna elect, even though it's only, that they have to come up with $10,000 surety bond? Since when do elected officials pay their own bond? Why are we doing that? I think that's gonna, is that, I don't really understand. Is a surety bond where you literally have to put a total of $10,000 cash up? I don't understand. If the city attorney,
Well, it doesn't say cash bonds, so
Well,
I
it
can't
says-
answer that. but I do know
City sheriff,
that the city, the sheriffs,
they're, they're supposed to.
Right,
all elected appointed officials.
right.
They already do that.
They always do
The
that.
sheriffs pay their own.
Right,
Wow, and they're elected in there?
Well, but they're a paid position as opposed
that's
to
right.
others. You know, they presumably, I don't know what their finances are, presumably it generates sufficient or adequate revenue that people want to do.
And they never, through you, through the chair, they never complained about it, trust me. You've had sheriffs that have, you know, been appointed or whatever, 10, 20 years. I can think of the Republican,
You're right.
tall guy, was there for 30 years about. So,
I just want to understand, what is the surety bond? I don't even know what it is.
Mark, what's the about?
I believe the definition is to ensure that you perform your functions in a proper fashion. But I'm going to get to the legal definition.
In other words, if they're sued for something you do wrong, does that take liability away from us? Oh,
It's not only to the extent of the bond. I mean, unless we talked about requiring them to have some type of liability insurance. We talked about that, and I think we did that at the commission. I think we deviated from that. Let me give you the definition of surety.
So-
But if we get rid of them, the county takes care
Right.
of
Well,
that.
they're there for four more years though, right?
Sorry?
You're still there for 6 more years.
Right, but they've been acting, right, they've been functioning this long.
Right,
So,
they've been
those
functioning-
6 more years, that's right?
If we're sued, the bond covers them for up to 10,000, is that what it is?
The
No.
general definition is simply a surety bond is a type of agreement involving three parties: the principal, the obligee, and the surety. It guarantees that the principal will fulfill their obligations to the obligee. If the principal fails to meet these obligations, the surety is responsible for covering the losses. So presumably, it's like a limited form of insurance,
Yeah.
but very limited in amount, obviously.
Okay.
Let's move on.
all right, what's next?
Beat that horse. You guys all comfortable with section 6, term of office, all that stuff?
Yeah,
Alright.
Just further, just to tell you, an example of a surety bond is like a construction bond, where if the work is not performed appropriately, you can call the bond. But again, on a construction job, the bond may be multi-millions of dollars in order to cover the exposure. That's not what we're talking about here.
Alright.
Okay.
Moving on to page 14.
Can I ask a question on page 13?
What's up?
Okay, vacancy of elected officials. We spent a lot of time about people serving in, we had somebody serve 17 years on an expired term on the police commission. And I thought what we were gonna say is when their term expired, that they were gonna get up to, the mayor would have another 90 days, and then the council can step in. And this doesn't seem to say that, right?
Just through the chair,
Mhm.
you're mixing, I think, vacancy
Well,
and
I'm-
expired terms, because there's a
So
difference.
so
An expired term is not a vacancy, it's serving as a holdover. I understand what you're concerned about, but
That's
that's a
what I wanted.
slightly different issue.
So now somebody can serve again 16 years on an expired term on a board or commission, and the city council can do nothing about it.
question.
Alright.
I'm asking, wait, can I get an answer?
No, yeah, absolutely.
The
So
reason-
we're not changing that. We're gonna continue to let people serve
No, I think,
12, 13, 14, 15 years on.
Trying to answer your question.
I thought we attempted to address that, but I believe it's addressed elsewhere.
It's
Yes,
addressed
We have a
elsewhere.
general
We did
provision
address
Okay.
that applies to all boards, commissions, et cetera.
I have a
Okay.
question.
Councilman Newton?
Right now, it says until you serve until your replacement happens. Are we changing that piece? Because right now, the charter says,
No, we're not changing that piece, to my understanding, because you want to be able to have continued functioning of boards and commissions. What we did do, and maybe you guys will find it before I do, there's a provision somewhere in this document that addresses the mayor's failure to
C, yeah, C,
put people in, and then the council jumps in.
section 8, C.
But that's not, he's saying, somebody on an expired term is not a vacancy. He's saying that is not.
No, but there, well, you can replace them. you can replace them because their term is expired. Technically, the term is expired, they continue to serve. It's not,
Holdover.
right, it's
Right,
not,
but we can't nominate. Except for planning and zoning, we can't nominate anybody to a board or commission. It
well,
has to come from
let's
the mayor.
let's look at the language where, maybe it's not broad enough.
I-
Where is the section? What page?
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
I don't know, I was
Through the chair,
looking at
think
13.
we addressed this way. We said that boards and commission were coming to an end, say their term at the end of the year. Okay, we tried to address it where the city clerk's office, we can have that list, inform the legislative body, inform the mayor, and inform the individual that your term is coming to an end. So, say September, we just picked a day, September, so you have all that period between September and the end of the year
Like a grace
to
period?
address, to address the fact that that is gonna be, that term is gonna be expired.
But I don't see it here.
Eugene?
That's, for some reason, I can't find it either, but
Yeah,
that's.
I don't see it either.
it is
That's-
something that we
That's
definitely talk
something
about.
we agreed to.
Is it later in the book, or is it just not?
I think it got lost, but we did vote, as a commission, we voted to have that added to the charter.
Well, we have recorded,
Transcripts, yeah.
transcripts, so we can go back to it if it was removed.
Good job.
Because that's important.
Eugene?
No, we
I just-
found
I
it
mean-
extremely important.
If it's a way to improve people just not sitting there
For 20 years.
for 20,
Expired.
30 years
Yes.
because,
Right.
you know, we didn't reappoint them or they didn't get reappointed. Because most of the people that are still sitting, they don't come back to get reappointed. They just sit there until they die.
Through the
But
chair,
they
we
should.
tried
They
to
should.
address that, and for some reason I can't find it here, but I do have it in
When do
writing.
you find it? Could you email it to
Yes,
us?
Yes.
so we
Of
can
course.
move on.
All right,
from this.
yeah, I'll move on.
Okay.
I'll give it to you
All
tomorrow.
right, so you did address it, all right.
Thank you so much. All right, page 14. Let's see.
14,
Section 13 is, took it out.
yeah,
Section 15, they took it out. They want to get more teeth.
I'm sorry, what page are you?
14.
15 o'clock.
Let's see. Section 10, removal of certain board and commission members.
say
If the
it.
mayor or majority of members of the city council believe that any person appointed to a board or commission of the city is habitually absent without valid excuse or guilty of misfeasance or malfeasance or violation of ethics as determined by the ethics commission, the city council or mayor may, upon 30 days written notice, summon the officer to appear before them at a place and time specified in such summons to show cause why they should not be removed from office. Such summons shall include a written statement of the charges against the officer. If, after full hearing, there is a finding that such officer is habitually absent without valid excuse or guilty of misfeasance or malfeasance or violation of ethics as determined by the ethics commission, he or she may remove such person from the office or impose such lesser discipline or penalty as permitted by law.
I have a question. Mark, if you go to, we're on page 14, right? It's talking about removing somebody who was appointed as a board and commissioner, but it doesn't say what do you need, a majority of voting present? When you're removing somebody out of an appointed seat, there should be a high standard. And this provision A doesn't say, it says we can remove them, but it doesn't say what's the threshold required. And again, I always think it should be, when you're talking about removing somebody, I think majority of the whole or a higher standard. And it doesn't say,
There's a very good
it
point.
doesn't say what the vote requirement is. If you remember,
At the minimum, it should be a majority of the whole.
yeah, not, you
I
know,
thought we just addressed,
That was for ethics.
but, I mean, if we're gonna do it for ethics, then we need to do it for
Consistency.
consistency.
Have one standard.
One
across-
standard
yeah,
fits
but
all.
I'm saying there's no standard.
What she's putting out is not there, that's what she's
So
putting
we
out. Correct,
cannot-
Maria?
Yeah, and the other thing I want to say, if you go to page 15D, the provisions of the section shall not apply to any officer or employee serving at the pleasure of the mayor. Okay, but the mayor appoints every
Is that under
single.
section, is that under
That's
section?
not
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
What am I chapter 4 yet?
No,
No,
we're,
it's-
it's a chapter we're on, to the top of page 15, D.
What that's
D.
intending to
It's
say.
not
Can I finish my
Yes.
question? So are we saying that because every commissioner is nominated by the mayor, except we can do, 60% of us can nominate P and Z, and we never have a say on housing commissioners or whatever, but the ones that he nominates,
No.
is this saying that we cannot remove them because they're serving at the pleasure of the mayor, because he nominated them?
Through the chair, no, because people appointed to boards and commissions, it's not what this is intended to cover. They don't, no board of commissioners serves at the pleasure of the mayor. They serve their term of appointment. What this is intended is for employees such as the director of public facilities or the director of some other department, the CAO, for instance, who serve at the pleasure of the mayor.
Okay.
That, and some of them are officers and some are employees only. But anyone, the purpose is that if you serve at the pleasure of the appointing authority as an employee or official, but not as a board or commission member to a term, then you don't get this protection. You can just get a letter that says your services are no longer required, thank you.
But all those people that he served at his pleasure are gonna be part of the ethics commission that could get a vote of 4.
No, because those are not employees or officials who serve at his pleasure. Ethics commissioners.
The director of public facilities serves at his pleasure.
Yes.
Okay, so what I'm saying to you,
Ethics commissioners
ethics
serve-
says every employee, every director can go to the ethics commission and be removed by a vote of 4. Or have whatever, a report issued, a censure, whatever, by 4. How can they do that, right? And I agree they should be able to, not just commissioners. It says in ethics that any public official, officer, whatever.
Because this is
Well, how-
not, this
yeah,
is,
Well, let me finish, because a lot of legislative bodies in this country can vote to terminate a finance manager or whatever. And so if the Ethics Commission has the power to take those officers and be referred, somebody files a complaint, right, against an officer, they hold hearings, they do an investigation, all that, and they have to give us a vote of 4, and then it comes to us. Are we saying then we can't do anything about it? Because that's what it's saying right now.
no,
What's the point of sending
the
them
point
back?
is, the point is it doesn't come to the council if it's a mayoral appointment. It goes to the mayor. Now, the mayor would have 2 options at that point, 2 avenues. One, he could say, you know what? I got a report from the Ethics Commission, I'm gonna remove you. But I don't have to give you the friggin' hearing because you serve at my pleasure.
But aren't people entitled to that?
No,
Due
not
process?
if you serve at the pleasure
No,
of the
no.
appointment.
Not if you serve at the pleasure of the
You're an
mayor.
at-will employee.
So I can file a complaint
At
tomorrow.
will, they're at will
There's
employees.
very
Let me
few,
just
by
finish,
the
but
way.
if I
Very
wanted
few.
to file a complaint, I don't know, against Director of Public Facilities for malfeasance or something, okay? And they get a right to hold a hearing, transcripts, all that, and they, by a vote of 4, forward a recommendation to us. What we're
They
saying,
would not forward it to you because you're not the proper party to hear
but
that.
that's what it says in ethics.
No, I think, no, unless I'm wrong, I think it says to the mayor or the council,
Should not
depending
go
on
to
who
labor
the appointing
relations,
authority.
an investigation.
Whoever the
needs to
appointing
go to
authority
labor-
is has responsibility to dispense discipline in response to their findings. Some of them are mayoral appointments, some are council appointments. The director of public facilities, the council does not have any say over it. You don't appoint him, you don't remove him. The mayor does, he's a mayoral appointee. The mayor could say, you know what, I don't even want to wait for an ethics commission report. It serves my pleasure. He's getting bad press. Thank you for your service. I hope you do well in your next.
I'm just saying this contradicts the Ethics
It really
Commission.
doesn't. You gotta read it as a whole. It's probably not that clear. We can take another look at it. But
All right, what's next?
there's no position, to
20
my
minutes.
knowledge.
Come on,
that
20
both-
minutes.
Oh, I'm
20
sorry.
minutes.
Sorry.
This is very good progress. This is all a good discussion.
What's next?
Chapter 4.
Chapter 4.
Mayor.
Is the mayor.
Page 16, appointment powers and duties.
It's not 6, is it 16?
Yeah, 16, the bottom,
The
yep.
bottom. Subject to the availability of funds and pursuant to provisions of Chapter 17 of the Charter, the city clerk and deputy city clerk may appoint such assistant as necessary for the administration of the duties of the office of the city clerk. Assistant.
Right, deputy's gone.
No, because it
I'm just
doesn't
reading out
sunset,
loud.
it doesn't sunset until 2031, so
Right.
it needs to change.
The assistant to the city clerk and deputy city clerk shall be in a classified civil service.
Yeah, what we doing?
Yeah, but we're changing it from assistant to deputy, because the registrar had to.
I read that because at some point, right, we are correct.
Can you just say it out loud, so everybody understands why they're changing to deputies and not assistant?
Because they're no longer gonna be elected, they're gonna be, hired or, they're gonna go through a process of being hired.
I mean, the other point to that is that the registrar has a deputy, not an assistant registrar, they have a
Right.
deputy, so to keep that with consistency and to the change, it would be a deputy city clerk.
That's
Good
fine,
stuff.
that's fine.
So essentially, let's go 17, same thing for city clerk.
That's fine.
Section 4, same thing, all right. Let's see. Page 9,
Page 18.
18,
19.
the
Council organization.
council organization.
I've got some concerns on the organization of, that I want to throw out anyway.
Are you referring to something you're reading?
No, these are some notes. So I can exhibit, these are my notes.
Where are you?
On the page 19,
What are you exhibiting? Do you have enough for everybody?
no, I don't.
So then, why would you
So-
make enough copies for everybody if you
Well,
want to exhibit?
because they want me in my mind what I wanted to say. So this is what's in my mind to say what the council.
So can we exhibit your mind into the record?
Can we do that?
Well, yeah.
What page are we at?
There is no page.
There is no page.
His mind.
There is no
He wants
mind.
to exhibit his mind.
Correct.
I want
Do
to
you,
testify.
do you,
Can I testify?
do you have remarks?
Yes, I have remarks.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Page
Let me make-
19.
Yeah, can I make some remarks? On page 19, where it talks about, section, let's go to B.
We're now under city council, by the way.
Oh, you're not, where you at?
No, I'm saying, we are now, I'm saying,
Oh, you
we're
saying we're
under
now.
city council.
Page 19, section B.
All right, section B, December 1st, the council president elect different people, boards, and those kind of numbers, large numbers.
Where are you reading?
I'm sorry. Section B,
Put your glasses on.
I got them all.
Put your other glasses on.
I got them. Hold on.
Section
I
B.
want to see which one I want.
Do you want me to read it for you, Ernie?
No, I just want to make some changes. I'm looking for where to make the changes.
Yes, it's changed.
So on section, chapter 6, section 3, page 18, add language to clarify the chain of command on the city council. There is city council president, a president pro tem, majority leader, deputy majority leader, minority leader. These positions should be listed in the council organization.
Wait, hold on. Where are we? Because anything that's not in red should be going to the attorney's office for the attorney's review. We're trying to review what we have in red that has been changed.
He wants to submit additional changes.
Right.
This is
We don't
not-
have a copy?
No,
It's not the way to.
He doesn't have a
this
copy.
is not the way to do it.
Through the chair, if I could suggest a meeting tomorrow night on the same subject, so I could bring them tomorrow night.
Yes. Can you send that to the city attorney's office
I'm
and
gonna give it
let?
to him right now.
Okay, thank you.
I need to make the copy.
Can you move on to the next?
Yes,
I
ma'am.
don't have, I have.
No, hold on a
Because
second,
I've
hold
got
on a
some
second.
changes on suggestions.
Hold on a second, because we do need to debate
What do you want,
the,
basically?
the Scott's language, because he said, to make sure that we have that in section A, he said the conflict of language, the conflicting language,
And A?
in A, in the sentence where he said the mayor shall preside at the meetings of the city council, or shall have no vote. Because he did say that before he left on his testimony. And then it said, at the beginning of that, where it says the council president shall preside in the absence of the mayor, so when casting a vote in a tie in addition to his or her vote as a council member. So he's saying that, he's asking that we change that, so we can add that into debate if you wanna debate it tomorrow, we can debate it today now.
Right,
It's gonna be a long thing. Let's,
Or,
we got 15
Yeah,
minutes.
15 minutes.
And
Okay,
we should
minutes,
pay for what
because
that's-
also George had asked that we remove the council president, that we remove the mayor presiding over council meetings, and change it to council president, so that would change language throughout this paragraph. In essence, also change in the absence of the mayor, the president, of the council president. Any may choose its member, so we can debate that. Or we can save it for language changes for tomorrow, and then the ordinance committee can debate that.
All right, we can say it for tomorrow.
I'd like to save it for tomorrow, because that way it'll be in red, and the attorney will have something for us to, in writing.
Did you catch that, Mark?
Hold on.
What's that?
John,
That was the old attorney.
Well, hold on. Are you done, CP?
And then,
Don't forget, we're saving this for tomorrow.
yeah, and then also the new change request, this is what I'm saying now to Mark and capture it. The change that Scott also put in section 4, subsection A, is to change, from 14 days, change it to 7 days.
That was.
I just have a statement, because, excuse me, Mark, I just have a statement. I just sent an email out to all elected officials that if they had any recommendations or any requests for any changes, to please submit it via email in writing, so that it could be better handled by our city attorney's office, so that way they can have anything legality-wise that needs to be addressed.
He submitted it
So
today.
I'm gonna send him an email, I'm gonna send all the council members an email again tonight. If there's any recommendations or any changes, must be submitted in writing to the city attorney's office, as well as all as a whole, because we can't do this, bits and pieces of stuff. We'll be here till next year, this is not going anywhere.
Well, we might as well go, while we're here,
Hold on, Mayor.
while we're here, Mark, as the council has always argued, I think we need to put in there that the city council should have its own legal.
Send it via email, and I will submit everything
All right.
to my culture, and I will submit everything to the city attorney's office.
No, it's fine.
Through the chairs, thank you for recognizing. I just want to go back, and make this statement. I do agree in regards to the concept of not having the mayor preside over the meetings, because a lot of other city councils, the mayor doesn't. He may sit there, but he's not actually presiding over it, because I will be absent tomorrow, but I will send y'all the stuff, because I'll be out of town.
What's
So
going on?
I just want to put that.
That was
out
on
there.
Richard, right?
That is in here.
What?
Section 3, subsection B, effective December 1, 2031, blah, blah, blah. The council president shall preside over the meetings of the city council. That's already
It's
here.
not supposed to be 2031, it's supposed to be.
I don't know, I just read it here and said it's in
It's
here.
on page 19.
Page 19, subsection B.
It's the first sentence in B.
Yeah.
We just gotta take out
Did
the
you see that?
2031.
Got glasses on.
I do have my
When
glasses.
is it supposed to be effective?
So it's supposed to be, this
December
is
1st,
supposed to be a
2031.
upon the passage of
Oh,
this,
that
not
should,
2031.
that's a typo.
So you're saying effective immediately?
Well,
Effective upon passage.
just through the chair,
Mhm.
I believe that when you say it's supposed to be, this is the way it was submitted by the
Yeah.
charter revision committee.
That-
Now you can make
This is the
recommended
change, yeah.
change.
That was a type, that was supposed to be
Another
effective
typo?
immediately,
Oh, was
not
it?
23.
Okay.
I don't know how they discussed it.
That was from the person who made changes.
Because that was
I think that's why Scott brought it up. 'cause
That was the
that's
deal
what-
of going to 10 council members, December, and this is, all right.
It was, yeah.
Wasn't real.
Okay, I just want to say this, and this is really important. No elected official can get additional powers via ordinance. Not the governor, not the legislature, not the mayor. The charter have to delineate exact powers you want, and then the people codify those powers on the referendum. You can't say, I want a provision in here that I get more power by 11 votes on the council. That the governor,
No, I'm not arguing.
no, I'm asking you, am I right? The governor
I'm
has,
just
the
gonna
governor
tell-
would have to get a constitutional
I'm gonna
amendment?
tell you, I think where that language came from, and you raise an excellent point that needs to be confirmed. That language came from other examples in the charter such as currently, under public facilities, chapter 12, section 1, it says, it's mirror language. The duties, powers, and responsibilities of the Department of Public Facilities shall be established by ordinance. But that's not an elected
But they're not
position.
elected.
I agree. So I made a
So-
note that we need to determine whether or not the powers and duties and responsibilities, as opposed to some, like in the council rules, some process and
Yes.
procedures, whether that's appropriate. So we'll take a look at that.
So, because I just want to say that, like it already delineates the special powers that any council president has. You get to appoint to committees with ratification by the council. You get to chair meetings in the absence of the mayor. The specific powers for that position are delineated here and must be brought to voters.
And
Whatever power it is that you're seeking needs to be outlined here, and the voters have to ratify
So,
it, not the ordinance of 11 people.
I think, presuming you end up being correct, then if there are certain powers that the body wants to ensure that the council president enjoys, they should be delineated in the
Correct.
document.
And then the voters have
So
to
we'll check
ratify it.
that. What happened here, I'm sure, is in talking to certain people, who will go unnamed, who've worked on this, there's been the thought that as much, that the charter should be a very limited document, and as much should be delegated and deferred to ordinance as possible. That's a great theory, but the difference is, you're talking about elected
Elected
positions. So,
positions.
good catch, we'll check it. And meanwhile, the council should start thinking about, assuming that is the case, what specific powers you want to
Correct.
have.
It needs to be ratified by the voter, and they need to know what powers.
Okay, we cut that covered. Not answered, we covered.
Thank you, Mark, for your work today.
All right,
Can I get a motion for adjournment?
so moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Yeah, I gave it to Mark.
Meeting's over at 7:53.
I gave it to Mark.
Three.
So cheers, you did an excellent job.
Thank you, dear.
That was an excellent job.